Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to tonight's episode, which is episode 10 for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think Maggie may actually be killed off, may not even survive to The Walking Dead Season 9. And spoiler warning, of course, as per usual, if you guys have not seen The Walking Dead up to the mid-season premiere, which is episode 9. So if you guys missed any videos this week, I made lots leading into episode 10. Pretty excited for tonight's episode. Just kind of regular, kind of episode type of deal, but very excited for the finale for the season. So I want to start, focusing on and doing more videos about the finale as it starts getting closer, because, of course, this should be a pretty big one, with it being kind of the final battle for All Out War, and just the final climax of what they've been going for the last couple seasons, since really the season 6 finale when we first meet Negan, and even before that, with us kind of finding out about the Saviors, even in the mid-season finale for The Walking Dead Season 6. So it's been a couple years that we've been in the Savior kind of story arc. They've been going with this pretty much ever since the end of No Way Out. I want to say they kind of started bringing in the Saviors, and we've been seeing that kind of continue through even up until current date. So this one's a pretty big question, and I've done lots of videos for you guys in the last couple weeks if you missed them, giving our thoughts about Maggie and what they're going to do. So just to do a quick recap on all the news that we've had so far about it, Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie in The Walking Dead, has not re-signed her contract yet for The Walking Dead Season 9. She has instead signed on for a pilot series with ABC. So, it's really looking right now like, it's getting kind of close, to the time when they start working on the show and they start writing and they start doing all the stuff that they have to do with. I believe they start filming and all that good stuff in about May to June-ish type of time frame. Like in near the beginning of May, they kind of get started with filming usually, and they've, looked to have everything kind of ready for the season and get everything set with all the things they have to work out before then. So this is kind of the time of year when you would expect to see them starting to get everything, in line for the next season, or at least getting close to the time when they start kind of putting everything together, getting everything ready for The Walking Dead Season 9. We still have not heard, just to give you guys an update in this one, no news basically on the Maggie situation, whether or not she's going to return for The Walking Dead Season 9 or not. Scott Gimple did kind of comment very briefly, and I'll put the link in the description for you guys to comicbook.com, where he very briefly touched on the the situation with Maggie and whether or not she would come back to the show. And it sounds like he's pretty hopeful that she will, and he's pretty certain that she will. Lauren Cohen will re-sign in some way to come back into the series. But a good question that was brought up is, what do you guys think about the possibility that maybe she hasn't re-signed, or she isn't re-signing because she was already dead, right? So that's a kind of a good kind of prediction or kind of idea, and I think it's kind of interesting. Where in The Walking Dead Season 8, like if she doesn't survive to the end of Season 8, then of course she's not going to re-sign for Season 9, right? She'd be looking for pilots and she'd be looking for these other series. So is it possible that she may not even survive out The Walking Dead Season 8, and even after Carl, they may throw us a kind of another curveball in The Walking Dead TV series, and you see her die during child labor or something like that in the Season 8 finale. So that'd be super bleak and super sad if they went that route. I hope they don't. I hope they are able to kind of get her to come back and at least do a few episodes Season 9, or kind of just be kind of a background character here and there while she works around this new series that she's got as a pilot. So we'll have to see how it all kind of turns out, what it all comes down to, but you guys can write your comments below on what you think about the possibility that maybe she hasn't re-signed because maybe it doesn't make sense for her to re-sign. I mean, we haven't seen all the episodes for Season 8 yet. There's still another 7 episodes, and that could be a huge death if they were going to do something like that. I would just think it'd be something that would probably take up multiple episodes. It probably would be such a big death. Like if you look at the Carl death, it wasn't just one episode. It was like a few episodes there, especially the mid-season finale where he kind of gets a spotlight episode, and then the mid-season premiere when he kind of finally is dead, and then the repercussions of that will continue on afterwards. So I hope they can get a re-sign. I hope they can come back in the series for The Walking Dead Season 9. But, is it possible that maybe she could be killed off before we even get there? Or we could see, child labor type of death, this kind kind of thing. And well, we'll have to wait and see what they do. But of course, if she does re-sign, I'll let you guys know right away what the news is and what that entails. If the contract is published, or at least we have some information about the contract, and it's kind of leaked out, or people find out how many years it's for, this kind of thing. Just so we have some idea of what they're going to do with the character going forward. So be sure to leave a comment below, guys. What do you think about the whole, her maybe not re-signing thing, switching to another series, the possibilities of recasting, all that kind of good stuff, and whether or not you think that actually maybe this whole thing is happening because maybe she's not even alive when you get to season 9. We'll see. I mean, there's going to be some big deaths at the end of season 8. I wouldn't think that they would kill Maggie off in the series at all. But, I mean, you never know. They did kill Carl off kind of without warning. Dr. D says, do you think they have returned the gore factor after seeing Morgan grabbing one of the Savior's innards? It was pretty nasty, but so much fun. And I did like that they actually included that. I thought it was really important for Morgan to get blood on his hands like that. It's going to probably wear on him, as are all of these other kills he's had to make this season. And I thought it was important. And this is The Walking Dead, so you should have stuff like that in it, right? I mean, that's what the series is. If you look at, No Way Out, or you look at a lot of these prior episodes, some of them are really dark, really brutal, and that's supposed to be kind of the nature of the series. To try to reduce the brutality of The Walking Dead is like, you're taking out part of what it's supposed to be based on the comics. Kekker says, in an interview, Trev, Andrew Lincoln stated that he has now lost Carl. Rick will be ready to lose certain parts of himself, and then he smirked. Do you think he means he is going to lose parts of himself physically, like his hand? Yes, I know what everyone is going to say with the, now CGI is too expensive, but they did it with Merle, and The Walking Dead reuses certain ideas, like the guts trick. Maybe Daryl could craft the same thing Merle used for Rick. Would love to hear your thoughts. So I don't think they'll do like a Merle blade hand type thing for Rick in the TV series. I mean, I guess they could and do like a hook or something instead, but I think more likely what we're seeing in that picture at the end of episode 9 is pretty much what will probably happen is his hand will be damaged. Like he'll have nerve damage in his hand, so it pretty much no longer works, I would think. And, maybe at that point, if his hand is just like useless and he can't use it, maybe they would create some kind of, prosthetic or something to help him be able to grab things. Because, if he gets like a screwdriver or a knife or something through his hand, like it looks like we might be seeing in the in the season finale at the end of this year, then yeah, they might have to do something like that. So maybe he is kind of teasing that Rick may finally kind of lose the hand or something like that will happen, and that would be pretty brutal. And see, again, there's something really brutal for The Walking Dead, but it's supposed to be. It's a horror series. It's a zombie apocalypse type of show. That's what we're supposed to see. So maybe we could see that. Maybe that is what he's teasing. We'll see. That's a nice call though, Kekker. Thanks for sending that one through. Rylan Pettypiece says, do you think Daryl and Rosita could become a new couple? I think, that's been one that's been ongoing for years now. People have kind of speculated about that one. I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not seeing any kind of lead up to that lately. Maybe her and Dwight, possibly, but then again, Dwight has Laura, so we'll see what they do with that in terms of relationships. Zarbun667 says, Trev, do you think Carl wrote a letter to Negan? And I think he did. And we'll have to see, and maybe at the end of the season, that'll be something that'll come back in again, and that'd be kind of a cool thing to include in the finale if he did, in fact, write a letter to Negan. He had the time to do it, and he wrote some letters to the others that are obviously very important to him, and Negan did have a short impact on him there near the end. In the last season or two, right? Nick Colin says, funny how the season 6 finale Negan goes, I'm not growing a garden, and then in the season 8 dream sequence, he's growing tomatoes in a garden. So that's another nice catch. Nice job there, Nick. I didn't even think about that one, but that's true that he does say that, and that's funny. So we'll have to see. Maybe he will grow a garden. Yeah, so maybe the dream will come true. Anthony Hubois says, Trev Q&A, do you think episode 9 may have gotten the show back on track? So I did one yesterday on the ratings of episode 9 and kind of, where things are going with the show. So pretty much, I think the show is on track right now. I just think it's probably never going to be as popular as it was during, lead up to season 7 and around that time, season 5, 6. I don't think it'll ever be as popular as it was at that time, but I think that it is on track right now, and I think that they're doing a good job of keeping us guessing, and in terms of setting everything up for a pretty big finale here, I think everything is going really well this season. But that's just me. Those are my tastes, and a lot of people don't really like season 8 that much, whereas I personally, I like it a lot. I love season 8. It's really good so far. Pizza Boy Glenn says, "Hey Trev, what are the ratings on Fear the Walking Dead? Are they better than The Walking Dead, or are they about the same? Keep up the good work." So it's not a bad question to send through, because I wanted to touch on this one with, we'll have to see what happens when Morgan switches over and how much that boosts Fear the Walking Dead. But I would think that the season premiere for season 4 of Fear, being that it's on right after the finale for The Walking Dead, I think that premiere should do great, and that will probably also help episode 2 get a little bit of a boost as well. And usually they're not even close. Usually they're like 2 million or around there type of range for Fear the Walking Dead. But I'm thinking this season, with them making some really good decisions, they should probably get that up to at least a 3 or a 4, I would think. US viewers we're talking now. So no, Fear the Walking Dead has never, since the first season, like when it first started, the very first season, it did really well at the beginning and the premiere and everything. But then it quickly kind of died down, and not so many people checked it out. Season 2 went down. Season 3 kind of went down a little bit more, but kind of stayed around the same type area. And season 4, they're making all these changes, so I think that will help increase popularity for the series and help Fear do well. But really, we can't expect Fear to do the same kind of ratings as The Walking Dead. If they could get to 4 million, if they could get to half, that's probably a big win for them on Fear. And, if they can keep it going at around maybe 3 to 4 range, then it probably will get many more seasons to come. But you never know. We'll have to see. Jay Morris says, "Do you think Siddiq will become or end up becoming a main cast character in the next season and will play a bigger role in the series? Keep up the great work." So, for Siddiq, he's probably going to be a mainstay, a very important character in the future. Who knows? He may help Rick. He may help a lot of the others, because he is kind of a zombie apocalypse doctor type of deal. So he can help them and do what he has to do to help everybody else survive and heal from after all that war. So he's a very important character, and Carl has given his life to bring him in. So with doing so, he's going to be very important in the series later on. And I feel like kind of a continuation of part of that Carl story arc, even though Carl is dead. Siddiq is part of that and kind of continues on afterwards because Carl, brought him in and gave his life to allow Siddiq to become part of the group. So we stuck with him now. Audrey Tomasin says, "Hey Trev, since Fear will start the same night The Walking Dead ends, will The Walking Dead start back up at the end of season 4 of Fear?" And probably, for Audrey, probably it will. They're starting it at a good time this year, right after The Walking Dead ends. The summertime will probably be pretty empty, and Fear will probably start back up. Usually it's around August type of time frame. Sometime in August, like third week of August, something like that. So we'll have to see if that's what they decide to do with Fear, and that's when they restart it. But usually it goes like, the best way I think for them to do it is to add it right after The Walking Dead ends, and maybe do it before The Walking Dead starts, and then you have a gap in between, which is kind of like our mid-season gap for The Walking Dead, and just during the summertime, and then it kind of comes back, and it's pretty hot again, getting ready for October and for The Walking Dead Season 9 to premiere. Willie Vlog says, "Trev, next Q&A, do you think they will kill Negan in the TV show?" So they think we'll kill Negan in the TV show version. Well, eventually we'll probably see the death of Negan in The Walking Dead, but we just don't know when it's going to be. And with The Walking Dead TV series, is it a fair prediction that they'll probably kill characters off earlier in the TV series than they will in the comics in general? Does that make sense? I think that if you look at it that way and you say, well, they'll probably kill characters off sooner most of the time. There's exceptions to that, like Morgan. It doesn't apply with every character. But I think a lot of the characters, because people may want to leave, actors may want to move on at some point, that a lot of them may actually be killed off sooner, like we see with Carl and some of the others, but Andrea. But there are exceptions to that, of course, as well, too. You have Carol, who's still alive, who is kind of a character in the comics, is quite a different version of the character, really. Morgan. So maybe, but overall, you might be right there that they probably will kill Negan off at some point. We'll probably see it at some time. We just don't know when it's going to be. And the last one will be from Matt P., who says, "The fact that there wasn't a massive increase in viewers shows killing off Carl was a bad decision. As far as I know, every mid-season premiere has been a significant increase from the mid-season finale." And this one was not a significant increase. It was a little bit up. It was over 8. So I did a video yesterday. I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys here for the ratings for episode 9. So, was it a huge bad decision for that? Well, in terms of the writing, in terms of passing on this kind of dream idea, I think that it fit really well. I think it made sense for Rick and for the others. And we do know that Scott Gimple is moving on after this season as showrunner. He's not going to be showrunner for The Walking Dead anymore. So he may kind of, if he had known that going in, he may have kind of wanted to pull out all the stops and, include some big character deaths to shock everybody and keep everybody going. I think in terms of expectancy, it makes sense to do something like that to kind of throw us, swerve the audience and keep everybody guessing, keep everybody on their toes. And they certainly were able to accomplish that with killing Carl off. So I think what we're really seeing is it wasn't a huge, massive increase, like I said yesterday, but it was enough to keep the same level, to keep people watching, to keep people engaged to where they kind of have been recently. So it depends whether or not you want to view that as a win, that you're keeping the same amount and you're not declining further. Because 8 million people is a lot of people either way, right? And that's one thing that some sites like, I think, comicbook.com or some of the others did articles on that, like, The Walking Dead being on top because it's getting 8 million, and it's not fair to compare The Walking Dead to itself. I'm like, what you want to compare it to other shows? I mean, it's done so well over the years. Why wouldn't you compare it to some prior seasons of the series to see where it's kind of at right now in terms of at least ratings? I mean, yeah, it's great compared to other shows, but compared to prior seasons of itself and kind of how hot it is right now versus how hot it was, I think it makes all the sense in the world to kind of discuss what the peak periods of the series are, what the best part of the series is, objectively based on the data, based on, the audience, and how interested they are. I mean, I think that makes all the sense in the world to compare, at least so that we know what's the best season of The Walking Dead. Well, the data would show season 5 is the best, or season 6, or, season 7 start, and then it got a lot worse, and it's hard to argue with that when you look at those kind of results and you see where those are at, right? So, yeah, you could view it that way, Matt. If you think it's a big fail because it didn't boost things as much as you would want them to. Like if you kill Carl off, it's a huge character death, and you don't get 10 million views, then that kind of shows what kind of state the series is in, right? If you kill Carl off and you don't get 10, you get kind of around the same with a little bit. I see what you're saying. That's a matter of, I think, semantics and what you view as a win or what you're kind of viewing at this point as a win or not, or a loss. In this case, it's better. I think they did better than they would have right now if they hadn't have done it, but it definitely could hurt the show in the future because when you don't have Carl there, you're doing 16 episodes a year, you're crossing Morgan over into Fear, and you don't have that many mainstay characters from the beginning of the series that are still alive. So you may have other actresses who might want out of the show, and it could turn out to be a big-time bad decision in the long run. You're right, Matt, it could be. Depends on how, really your psychology, your philosophy, and how you want to look at it. That's what I would say. So, yeah, that'll be it for today's video, guys. I'll see you back again, of course, tonight after the episode airs. I'll have the review, I'll have predictions for episode 11. We'll do lots of Q&As this week. The usual kind of stuff, just having fun, enjoying the series. It's still my favorite series of all time. And, don't want to get too into the negativity and doom and gloom. I know there's a lot of comments and that kind of stuff, but it's still a lot of fun. It's still, I think, the best show on TV. If I look at 2018, is like, yeah, Walking Dead and Fear, The Walking Dead on AMC in general, the Walking Dead universe, is what I'm more amped for than any other show that's on this year, by far. Fear and The Walking Dead, that's what I want to see more than anything else. This is what I'm most excited for more than any other movie series or anything. But that's just me. Anyway, you guys leave your comments below. Let me know what you think and check out these other videos here if you missed them this week. I'll see you guys back again tonight after episode 10 airs. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And you can subscribe at the bottom. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another. Tonight, as always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.